We know Angela, and you, Miss Springsteen, are no Angela. Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's go watch Sleepaway Camp 2 on Happy Campers.
And welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. Here we are again, as we do, and we talk about movies from the 1980s. I am one of your hosts, Jamie Lorello. I am also here with a DP McCambridge, pointing to him, like you can see that.
I'm not in the same room as
I know.
And you're pointing sideways. You're not pointing at me.
It's like
You're pointing beside yourself. Also, just so you know, when I edit this together, when I edit your intro, I'm going to keep that defeated sigh that you opened with.
You should. And we're always glad to be here. But sometimes the things that call us here are a little disappointing. Let's just say that. Because they're 80s movies, right? So we don't know if they're going to be good or bad.
I think you could say that about any decade. But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a certain... I just watched a documentary. I think it's called Rewind This. That could be wrong. But it was all about the VHS era, and it was a really interesting and fun documentary. And one thing that they talked about is people started to make these movies that would immediately go to VHS. That would immediately go into, video stores, and that's how they would make their money. And some of those, I mean, we've come across some of those movies before on this podcast, but this
just
has VHS rental written all over it, because I couldn't imagine. Maybe it was released in theaters. Maybe I could have looked this up. Who cares? I couldn't imagine anyone going to see this in the theater or not being so disappointed after they saw it in the theater, if they were such fan of the first one.
Yes, exactly.
I almost wore my shirt that says Tit Patrol, Jamie, but I didn't.
Well, I mean, and was there, I forget, in the first one, was there any nudity?
No,
right? Except the very end, which the big reveal. But there was none needed because there was not that kind of a horror slasher.
There was the girl who was very excited to have a date with the camp counselor who was extremely elderly, and she took a shower.
Oh,
yeah.
And
then Angela stabbed her through the shower and cut her whole back open.
But even her, I don't think it was like neck up shower.
Yeah.
I don't even think, because it wasn't necessary. Like what I was going to say is I get it that some of these horror thrasher, films, the nudity is kind of what makes it, and the boob shots are kind of the, boobs and then blood, But
I mean, we do see a guy's dick at the end of the movie. Let's not forget that.
But that's the big reveal. That's a different sense of nudity. I mean, that nudity comes as like, it's almost as shocking as the boiling of the cook. It's like
I like how that's your order of shock. You're like, the huge reveal at the end, slightly below that cook getting boiled.
Unexpected. Well, and that too, like there was such a heat up with that. First of all, you get to see them leave for camp. This one, we're thrown right into the middle of camp.
Yep.
And then...
And there were characters.
Yes.
There were characters in that first one. And that's the thing. And you and I talked about this before we started recording a bit. There aren't any characters in this at all. No one has a personality. No one is interesting at all. Everybody's constantly just talking about Angela and the old sleepaway camp and what happened to these people. But they're talking about these two guys that are missing forever in this movie. And I'm like, who are they? Who were these people?
Who were they? Exactly.
I don't know who they were talking about.
I know.
Even at the end when we see all those corpses, I was like, I
Which
don't
one was that?
remember most of them.
Yeah.
And I'm saying they're looking for counselors. I don't think any of these people are counselors. Are they all campers? I'm so confused.
I think there was, from what I can understand, there was 3 counselors. There was Angela, There was TC, the dude with the mullet, the dude
Wow,
counselor.
that is a glorious mullet that guy had.
Oh my God.
Because it's like a perm
Yes,
mullet.
yes, it was. And then there's another female counselor that comes in at the end to replace Angela. She's
That
the only
girl-
other counselor.
Yeah. I felt so bad for that girl because she is just there for the perv police or whoever those kids are
Yes.
to take a picture of at the
Yes.
beginning of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's here at the end just to be murdered.
Do you think she read for the role of Angela and she didn't quite make the cut and they were like, here, we'll just you could be the other counselor girl.
I'll give you some lines at the beginning and a line at the end.
And it's
Done.
fine.
Yeah.
And there wasn't like the other Sleepaway Camp had all these other swarmy like camp workers there and you didn't know. I mean, you knew, but you didn't know in the first one who was really doing all these murders. In this one, it's not a question from the start. We know who the killer is. We know her motive, why she's doing it, because she's fucking crazy. And
Oh, okay.
because
I was going to
they're-
say, wait, is there a motive?
Well,
'Cause
and
there's
it's anybody that does anything bad, you know. That's her thing.
Well, and in the first one, everyone who is killed for a reason.
Yes.
Because they did something horrible to Angela.
Right.
Even when she hacks up all those little kids in that one, it's because they kicked sand at her or something. It's pretty funny and trivial and dumb. But in this one, I was like, nobody is wronging her at all.
No.
It's just like, oh, they're doing drugs. I guess they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
She's having sex. I guess she's going to die. That one guy did, they finally fired her, so maybe those two deserve to die, but nobody deserves to die for anything they're doing to her.
No, I agree.
They've created a new character. This is not the Angela we know
No.
and love.
Mm-mm. And I love it when she references herself, I guess, when she's like, I was very quiet when I was your age. I'm like, you're her age right now. What are you
Yes.
talking about?
Be quiet when you're her age. It's like, there's a chance you're younger
Yeah.
than this girl. These aren't kids either.
No.
This whole movie, I sat there going, is this just a movie about a camp full of counselors?
Yeah.
Because these kids look like they're 22 years
Yes,
old. They're
all
not
of them,
going to summer
yes.
camp.
And there's only the two boys, the peeping Tom boys. They
Right.
look the youngest, I'd say, like the 12-year-olds.
Yes.
But the rest of all of the girls look older. All of the boys look older. It's like a sleepaway camp for horny teenagers is what it is.
That is exactly what this is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I think in one shot, you see a couple of kids in the background, like hitting a volleyball around. But other than that, this seems to be a camp of about 12 people.
Yes. Even at all the lunches, whenever they're in the cafeteria, it's very limited how many people there are there. They do have some activities, I guess, like there's a little pool, but again, it's not like it's just everybody just goes to the pool. Then there's that one point where they're doing like arts and crafts where they're doing, this is weird. The counselors are doing like a blindfolded feel thing. What is that?
What is this?
That's just so Angela could say, oh, it's a bowl of teenage brains. And they're like,
Right.
no, really, what is that? She's like, bowl of teenage brains.
Yeah, this, like you said, it's a camp, but it's not a camp. Like, I was
No.
shocked with the fact that they were at a pool. Like, I was like, wait, shouldn't they be like at a lake or a river
In
or
the lake,
something?
yes,
Like, nothing.
exactly.
This movie stinks. And
Yeah.
I made a joke.
Hey, you.
I made a joke before we did this last time we had the podcast. I said, oh, we watched that horrible cheerleader camp. I think I'd rather watch cheerleader camp
Me
than
too.
Sleepaway
Me too.
too.
It had goofier moments.
Yes.
It had
It had
the
Leif
mascots. Yes.
Oh, yeah, they had to sit and eat with their mascot outfits on. Oh, man. I don't even want to talk about this. I hated this so much. I'm so surprised how much I hated this movie, but we have to talk about it.
Do you think
so.
it was because of how good like where you said you thought maybe I would have been
Yeah.
really sad and disappointed about the difference, the vast difference between this one and the original. Were you like
No,
hurt
the
by
first
it?
one. No, the first one's so fantastic. Nothing can ruin that. Nothing can ruin
Agreed.
Angela for me. I will always think about that movie and think that it's hilarious and fun.
I have my
and,
DVD copy right here.
and shocking and everything. It's everything that a crazy horror movie should be. And
Yes.
this is taking all the beats of a, prototypical slasher, but it's doing them all so badly, and there's no fun, there's no life, there's nothing to this.
No.
You don't need to call this Sleepaway Camp. You could put any title on this and release it, and it wouldn't make it worse, it wouldn't make it better, it would still be the same stupid movie.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
You could call it Camp Kills or something. It's just a bunch of teenagers in the woods with one.
Camp Kills. I'd call it Camp Mullet. That's what I'd call this movie. There are many mullets.
Some sweet mullets. There are some sweet mullets.
There really
but
are.
I guess, what was this, the late 80s, right?
This is
was the time.
88.
Yeah, get your rat tail ready. Get your mullet out.
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Look stylish about it.
All right. So let's start it. Let's go through this. Let's talk about this
right.
movie. We have to, for as excited as I was about there being a Springsteen and an Estevez in a movie together, that never quite pans out or has the excitement attached to it that I, had expected. Also, we're at a different camp. We're not even at Camp Arawak this time. We had to go to a different camp, and just do that. Just say we reopened this camp. Like, why? Why? I don't like it. But
I know. Now we're at Camp Rolling Hills.
Camp Rolling Hills. And there's a bunch of...
And we know because everybody wears their Camp Rolling Hills t-shirts.
That's why I thought they were counselors. I was like, everyone's wearing this shirt. This must be the counselors, because we see a bunch of 20-something guys and girls sitting around a fire telling scary stories. Right. And one little kid, I think he's part of the boob police or whatever. He's a terrible actor too.
They're all terrible.
Yeah, sorry. I guess I shouldn't single out,
There's
that kid
not
as being
one
terrible.
of them that I'm like, oh, well, that perform. Maybe the uncle, the guy, the older man, did an okay job.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a ton of movies. I looked him up. He's an actor from way back. This is near the end of his career.
Poor guy.
I don't know. I thought, listen, I don't want to compliment anybody in this movie, but I was kind of engaged when, what's his name, TC, was on screen.
Oh, yeah.
He seemed to be, yeah. I mean, he seemed to be having a good time. Like, I wasn't sure if he was suspicious of Angela or hitting on Angela. I like when he says to her, he's like, hey, let's just go down. You should go to the pool. I've never, he basically says, I've never seen you in a swimsuit before without saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just grasping at straws at that point. They kind of sit and talk, and one girl who is out of this movie very quickly kind of recaps the best kills of the first movie, because she's even like, she boiled this guy alive like a lobster. This other guy just like a bee's nest in a stall, and this is so early in the movie where I'm like, yeah, that was a good movie. I can't wait to see what this movie.
It was nice. Yeah, I wanted to have the flashbacks. Like I said, I wanted her to tell us about it, and then I wanted us to have some Insta flashbacks so I could just sit in that happy spot for a minute.
Yes.
But even when she tells it, though, again, the acting is so bad. And is she being called to? Isn't Angela calling to her at the time? And like, what are you doing?
Yeah, Angela's like, we got to go back to camp. You got to rah, rah, rah. But they're also arguing about what happened to...
Oh, yes.
They have a lot of, let's call it pronoun issues here, because they're constantly like, I heard that she was there. This guy, he's in Hollywood. And they say that he's playing Joe on The Facts of Life.
Yeah. She's the dark-haired girl on The Facts of Life.
They're trying to tell me that Nancy McKeon looks like a dude. I won't hear of it.
I'm not hearing it either. I'm not.
It was terrible. So, Angela, also, if you murdered a ton of people and then you were sent to an institution, why would you just change your last name? Why not just change your first name too? Why not just like
She's Angela Johnson now.
When that guy at the end is like, wait a minute, Angela. I was like, whoa. First of all, it took you a long time to figure this out. Second of all, bad planning, Angela.
Yeah, you should have changed the whole name. Right.
So Angela takes this girl. I don't know. Do we even know this girl's name? Who cares?
No,
it doesn't
we don't.
matter.
The first kill, we'll call it.
Yes. So she takes her into the woods, And this girl mouths off to Angela like, "You're such a stupid bitch, blah, blah, blah."
Well, because she is. She really is a Debbie Downer. Like, the Angela, again, I'm going to compare through this whole thing.
Please
the
do.
Angela in the first one is, I mean, she's this quiet sort of Debbie Downer. She doesn't want to do anything. But she's not. Oh.
It's not that she doesn't want to do anything. It's just she's just very shy.
Yes.
She's looking for some sort of connection.
This one is she is a bitch. This Angela, this new Angela, and she's not likable at all. I didn't like her.
No,
one bit.
And Angela, you took a job at Camp Horny. Like, you have to know what you're in for here. It's just, like we said, it's a camp full of 20-somethings, and she's all like, you need to not have sex, and don't do drugs, and don't drink.
Talk to the boys. Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's so strange and so bizarre. But she quickly clobbers this girl. I say clobber. With some bad editing, she gets hit in the head with a log.
Yes.
And then there's just blood everywhere, and Angela's hand...
when she falls down after being clobbered, her tongue sticks out awkwardly of her mouth, like, ugh. And Angela seizes that opportunity.
Yes. A hand comes into frame, a hand that appears to already be holding something, perhaps a prosthetic tongue, and then covers the mouth, and the knife. The knife cuts, and I love how I guess the hand is also mushing blood onto this girl's face at the same time. She drops this comical looking tongue, and the blood isn't even like on the lips. She just smeared the blood on her chin, so it doesn't even look like it came out of her mouth.
It's ridiculous.
This was a huge warning sign so early in this movie. Because I can forgive the bad acting at the beginning.
Oh, you almost expect it. It's a horror movie from the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. I was wrapped up in the mullets. I wasn't really paying attention to what they were saying.
You were mullet gazing. You didn't know.
Yeah. This is terrible.
Oh, when she first hits her, I wrote that. Because she whacks her in the side of the head with the log to make her fall down. And when she whacks her in the side of the head, it's like a big jar of jam explodes on the side of her head. And the girl says, before she falls down, "Oh, no!" And she falls down. Right. A lot of them do a lot of, like, last-minute speeches as they're dying or getting, anyway.
Yeah, well, they're trying to get as many lines in as they possibly could.
That's exactly it, yeah.
That black girl is talking a mile a minute. And when she was killed, I was like, oh, why did you killed her because she's annoying? Like this.
Well, then she
so
just starts.
dumb.
Then she just starts because she literally ends up killing everybody in that camp.
Yes.
Everybody in the camp.
She massacres everyone in the camp. And in the first one, she killed a ton of people. She didn't kill everyone in that camp.
No, because the camp was full. It was
an actual camp.
Yes. There's 2 cabins at this camp. There's not even, the other camp, there was like, it was like a village of cabins. It was like a camp. It was more cabins than not. Yeah.
We saw those kids run off the bus when the buses pulled up, and the kids just poured out of those buses onto camp.
Can we just talk about the first
when
one?
The cook was like, "Where I come from, we call them baldies." Great line. But there's no pedophilia in this movie because everybody's over the age of 28.
Right, exactly.
So we go then into the camp, oh my God, I almost called it a clubhouse.
The cabin.
We go into their barracks.
Okay, there you go.
Who cares? I hate this movie. So we see all these girls who are way too old and way too topless to be at camp.
Yes.
The one girl's just prancing around with no shirt on, and Angela wants none of it.
No. And it doesn't matter that there's no boys there. She doesn't want any girls showing their tatas. No.
Terrible. She says, nice girls don't have to show it off.
Yeah.
And then we see these perverts, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, but there's only 2 of them.
Oh, the Tip Patrol?
These kids refer to themselves that they are taking pictures of this naked girl through a window, and the one he's hoisting the one up, and then he lets him down, and the one's like, yeah, Tit Patrol, and they like high five or something. It's so stupid. Although, did you enjoy when we found out these kids' names?
Oh, because they're Emilio, aren't they?
And Charlie
Uh-huh.
and Emilio. I did sort of super love that.
Well, I read that all of their names, and I just read this right before we recorded, so it's not like I guess then I researched it. So
Right.
all of their names are based off of like the 80s, like Ali Sheedy, TC, Tom Cruise.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. There's a whole list. It was
What?
on.
Really?
What are their other names? Yeah,
Well,
all
there's
of the
Molly.
like Molly Ringwald.
Oh man.
There's a Rob, I guess, for Rob Lowe. I don't know which one's Rob. It goes through all the 80s, like
Are
every.
you serious?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes me like this anymore. It
It
might make me
doesn't.
like it less. I don't even know.
That's how I felt. I was like, oh, that's just stupid. That means they couldn't even come up with their own names for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
anyway.
Well, that makes me, I was really happy that I picked up on the Charlie and Emilio thing.
Yeah,
but,
that was well done,
whatever.
but there was more to it. Yeah.
So, as we said, nobody really has personality in this movie
Except the Shit Sisters.
the Shit Sisters. And there's a good girl named Molly, played by Estevez. She's the good girl. She won't
Yes.
have sex. She even says, like, at the breakfast table, she's like, I don't ever get stoned. I don't ever drink. And everybody laughs at her, but Angela doesn't. To Angela, this is all very serious.
Yeah.
I think we have to talk about this part of the movie because it comes back at the end. A part
The
that
Counselor
I kind
of the
laughed.
Week celebration? This?
Yep. Yep. When it comes back at the end, that slow motion stuff at the end did make me laugh.
Oh, that too. I agree. That whole end thing, I was like, oh, this is too... Because they didn't really know what else to do with, I guess, the ending.
Yeah. I was like, why are you showing me scenes I just saw 5 minutes ago? Why do I have to
And
watch all the kills?
why do you have to, like, weird them out like this? Why are they so distorted and slow-mo?
It's all bathed in blue, and why
Yes.
is she singing in
Yeah.
slow motion? All the audio's slowed down.
Uh-huh.
Oh, but anyway, so we see. Here's another question I had while I was watching this, and I had to answer it for myself. The camp, the guy who runs the camp, what's his name? Uncle something?
Uncle John.
Yeah. So she at one point walks in and she's like, "Oh, Uncle John, I'm so happy I work here." And I was like, "Wait a minute. Is this Angela's uncle?"
Yeah,
Like,
that's
is
what I
this-
thought. Is this the aunt's husband and now he's put together the camp to make it okay for her? Yeah. And again, that would have been a cool, like, little...
Yes.
That's how she still is employed because her uncle's covering up. And maybe he even says to her at one point, listen, you can't kill him like that.
Right.
You know, you got to
You
take it easy
can't
on
do
the
what you
killing.
did.
Yeah.
Back at Camp Arawak. I'll
Right.
keep this on the DL.
Right,
But,
but you gotta-
don't kill these people, Angela. Or at one point he finds out, maybe he's helping her cover it up or something.
Yes.
But no, this guy's just referred to
That's
as
just what
Uncle
they all
John.
call him.
Like,
Uncle John. Hmm.
this is so stupid because after a while I was like, well, wait, her uncle knows what she did. Her uncle knows that she's a guy. Her uncle knows she was in a mental hospital. And then I just heard everybody calling this guy Uncle John. And I was like, oh, why would you name your character Uncle John?
I know.
But she has been awarded Counselor of the Week. This appears to be a weekly award because of the name.
P.S. It's like the first week at camp, apparently. And she's done such a... and there's only 3 counselors, we pointed out earlier.
Yes. And also, the counselors aren't upset that she got Counselor of the Week. The girls that are in her cabin are upset about this. For
because
some
she's
reason,
a
what do
bitch.
they
Because she's
care?
a bitch. She's not a good counselor. She's always on them for shit.
Right. But they don't work there. What does it matter to them?
Well, then it's interesting. So as we've said,
Is
this
it
is a
interesting?
camp.
Go ahead.
This is a camp of, like, they all look at least 21 and over, 26, anywhere between the ages of 18 and 26 is what these
Sure.
campers look like. There's not a lot of them. So they're at breakfast, which is like maybe 12 of them.
There's conservatively 3 to 4 round tables.
Yes. And
With
there's
3 to 4 people at each one.
she gets awarded and she decides she's going to sing her happy camper song.
Yep.
And all of these people do the gestures and the song with her. She calls two of them up, two of them that don't like her. And
Yeah, she calls them up, and everybody's like, this bitch, man, I can't believe she won. This is so hokey. She's the worst ever. She starts singing, they are in it to win
they're in
Like,
it.
they're
There's
doing
hand
that.
gestures that they're doing.
They're singing their hearts out. And I was like, this
Even at
doesn't
the
make
table,
any sense.
even the dudes at the table are like, all right, happy camper. I
Yeah.
don't even know the freaking song they sing.
I
but
wouldn't be surprised. I didn't pay attention. I'll bet the Shit Sisters are even down with this.
I think so. I think even the Stoner Shit Sisters are doing it.
So this TC guy, one of the other, three counselors, as we said, I thought he was hitting on Angela. I'm not sure, but he keeps asking her, like, hey, what happened to Phoebe? I wrote her name down. Phoebe was the one who got her tongue cut out.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, hey, let's just go to the pool and just relax and maybe take your clothes off and maybe have a swim. Oh, P.S., what happened to Phoebe last night? And Angela, like, at every turn, I love how Angela's excuse is always the same. Oh, I told her she had to leave.
Yeah,
I told her she had to leave.
she's, once they, and I love it because Uncle John's like, you don't really have the authority to tell them to leave.
Yes. Does he stop this? No.
No.
Every time he turns around, he's like, where did those people go? She's like, oh, I fired them. I told them to go home.
I just told them to go home.
I called their parents. They picked them up.
We never see, except the one. There is one girl that gets out. There's one girl, I think she's at the craft thing, and she's like, I don't like it here. I want to go.
My favorite camper, that girl. That girl's like, I am out of here. This is a bad scene. I got to get out of here. And I'm like.
And she makes it. First, I thought
hope
Angela
that
wasn't going
she's
to
in
let her.
Sleepaway Camp 3. I hope it's all about her. Just trying to move on with her life. Just thankful that she made it out. That girl was hilarious because when she started yelling about that, I mean, we are more than halfway through this movie, and I'm like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Who is this person who I've never seen?
She's one of the younger campers, P.S.
She's so angry.
Yeah. She just, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go. And Angela's like, oh, come on. You'll get used to it. And she's like, and Angela just does. She walks her out to her car, to her mom, and she leaves. And Angela's like, come on, maybe you'll stay. She's like, no, I'm leaving. And they go.
Right.
She's the only one.
So here's another plot line. I would do air quotes, but I don't even have the energy to do that. So another plot line is that this Molly girl, Renee Estevez, she's kind of into this other camper named
What's
Sean.
his name? Okay.
Sean. But Allie, the slutty camper, also wants Sean.
Well, he's handsome.
Sure, why not? Slim pickings in this camp.
Exactly.
Like we said, there's like 5 dudes here. Nobody works here. At one point, they're like, "Oh, but she's banging the cook." I'm like, I would love to meet a cook.
I
in this
never
movie.
saw. Yeah, same here.
So they go to the pool, and this is where she takes her bikini top off under her shirt, though.
Her white shirt, mind you.
Her white shirt. And this other guy, this blonde guy who she ends up having sex with multiple times.
And disturbingly so. Like,
Yeah.
both times.
That's a weird sex scene of
Both
them in
of
the
them
woods.
are. The sex scene of them in the bathroom is weird, where she's just like, and like pushing his head down. But
I
like,
did find that pretty funny. Like, I did think that was a pretty amusing sex scene in this movie. She's constantly shoving his head down and just like tearing her own clothes off, just like spastically.
and flailing, yeah, and like flailing her body. She's not. And then the second time when they're having sex, it looks like she's in pain, and she's just riding him, going, and I read this little fun fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in the second sex scene, I don't know about the first one because it really was more just her, like you said, pushing her his head down. The second sex scene, it wasn't even the same actor. They had to get an extra to play the guy because he was underage.
Oh, no way, really?
Yes.
Well, he was probably underage for the first one, too.
Well,
Or,
I
It was
guess-
probably somebody else for the first one
Yeah.
also.
Well, they didn't say that. They just
Oh,
said the
that's
sex scene. I
funny.
assume they meant that because even that one, I was like, this looks awkward because he does. Most of these campers, like we said, look older.
Right,
But the
yeah.
one that she has this other interest in the not Sean, I guess. He also has a sweet mullet. Not as sweet as TC's.
Oh, yeah, that thing's just coming in. And before it's in fully, the 90s will hit and he would have cut
and he's going to cut it, right.
Right.
But yeah, he looks a little younger too. And so, yeah, they have an awkward sex scene in the woods. And
that's a really weird sex scene because after they're done, let's say, she stands up and looks at him like, "Thanks for that." Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I guess that wasn't a great time. And I love how she looks at him and is like, "You have like AIDS or anything?"
Yeah.
He goes, "No." And she's like, "All right, peace." And just walks away.
And just leaves. That's because she's a slut. I mean, she don't care.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Oh, so so she wet t-shirts this Sean guy, but he's not into it. He likes the good girls. He likes the nice girls.
Yeah, he's into
Yeah, and he walks away with Molly. End of that scene, because now Angela stumbles upon the drunk shit sisters in the
my favorites. They're so funny. They're just having fun giggling with each other, right? They're just stoned and
yeah, they're stoned. They're singing that song. They're singing that song, but like changing the lyrics. So I guess it's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. This is an abrupt cut here because she stumbles upon them in the woods. Mm-hmm. Suddenly it's the next day and she walks back in the woods. Out. They're still there.
Passed out with a joint on her neck.
Yep. The one is passed out and the other one appears to be having sex with some dude next to her passed out sister. And the guy runs off.
Oh, yeah. Angela comes in and is like, "Hey." And he goes, "Oh, shit." And he just runs away.
He runs away, and that other girl passes out immediately.
Yeah. She giggles and,
Suddenly, that girl awakens next to what we will find out is, and what I'll always refer to as Angela's murder shack. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she's, like, strapped to a grill, basically. It's just like a giant grill. And the charred corpse of her sister is next to her.
And she's looking right at it.
Yep. Staring right at it. So apparently she was so wasted, she slept through the burning alive of her sister next to her.
Well, and now Angela is just like, you know what? You shouldn't do drugs. And she pours some gas all over her or some, right? Mm-hmm. And lights her up too. So the first killing is a girl. Let's get the killings, right? Because that's the least we could do in this movie. The first one is the girl that told the campfire story.
Phoebe, her name is.
Phoebe, sorry, means a lot to you.
That's okay. I wrote down very few names, and I'm proud of the ones I wrote down.
And I wonder if that's Phoebe Cates?
Oh, I'm sure. Of course. Yeah. If that's what this is, I don't know who the shit sisters are.
No, but they're perfect. So, Phoebe got hit in the head, got killed and tongue out. These two sisters burned alive.
Burned up alive. And again, like you said, she says, don't do drugs. There's no motivation. Like, there's no... This is, again, just stupid slasher tropes. Like, don't have sex or you'll be killed. Don't do drugs or you'll be killed, which are dumb, and it's not that way in every movie. But this leans into it, but doesn't seem to be having any fun leaning into it either.
No, and then even them, like, let's see these girls be a little more, like you said, like we've said, these were the most fun characters.
Yes.
And we didn't even get to see them really. And they didn't really have much interaction even with Angela, where you're seeing the why she doesn't like the drugs they do, or why she doesn't like them. It's just,
there's no reason for this. Because, they are characters. You could have done something fun. Have the shit sisters all the way through this movie till the end. Come on.
They could have had all this fun commentary. But she, I'm air quoting, sends them home. Because that's,
yes.
That's what she says she does to people that she kills.
Yep, exactly.
That's how she explains it.
This is kind of funny because this is when the bratty camper's like, I hate this place. I want to go home. Let me go home. And Angela takes her out, like you said, to her car and like puts her in and like waves to her and is like, bye. And this is where Uncle John comes out and he's like, hey, where are the shit sisters? I don't think he says that. But Angela's like, oh, I called their parents and they were sent home.
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, don't do that anymore. And Angela's even like, you mean like what I just did with that bratty girl?
Yeah.
And even Uncle John's like, Okay, you got
Yeah,
me.
you
Some
got
people
me.
just need to go home, I guess. Why don't we talk about a panty raid? Because this movie showed me that a panty raid isn't what I thought a panty raid was. I didn't know a panty raid involved you tackling women and ripping their underwear off of their bodies.
Literally off their bodies. That's where the panties
I thought it was
come
just
from.
like rifling through drawers or something, but
While they're not around, no. You sneak in their cabin while the girls are getting ready for bed.
okay.
And the one girl can think that someone's out there. And then there they are. They're right there. And they're basically just making a mess with them. They're just, like you said.
Do they throw them into a giant pile in the room at the end then that the girls have to sort through?
Yes.
This is crazy because
Yes.
I like how Angela and TC appear to have these like adjoining furnished bedrooms. That are
Yeah, it's like
connected to
being
cabins.
the RA or something on the dorm. Yeah.
Because anytime
Yeah.
she opens her door, I'm like, wow, there's like an armoire in there. And
Yeah, she's
a
looking
really
good.
nice bed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But she wants nothing to, she's like, panty raids are terrible. Boys are
She's
awful.
angry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, girls are terrible. Pick up your underwear. And of course, Angela goes into her room, and the girls are like, you know what we're going to have? A jockstrap raid? Is that what
Yeah, they get
decide
excited
upon?
now to go. Now they go to, and they, not just a jockstrap raid, which they do. They put the jockstraps on their heads. They tickle the boys.
Yep.
They have like a little tickle torture that happens. Because that's fun.
Do you think the director of this ever met a teenager? Do you think the director of this like came out of the womb as like a 50-year-old man and was like, I don't know. I guess
I
this
don't know
is
how
what
they
kids do."
behave. Yeah, I guess. Well, then they have the girls. So the girls retaliate and they go to the boys' cabin. And then the girls are like, or the slutty girl says, you better give us our panties back or else we'll. And then she flashes her boobs.
Or else you'll see more of
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
That
But
doesn't
isn't
sound
that
like a
what
threat.
they all want? Isn't that what a teenage
right.
boy wants? Well, Angela sees that and
This panty raid just happened. Angela just locked herself in her room, and suddenly she is at the boys' cabin. Like this
She's
girl's
swarming around.
flashing these boys, turns around. Angela's standing right there. I love how TC comes out though earlier and sees this and is like, "Ugh, just wake me up when it's over," and goes right back into his room. Like
that's how a camp counselor should react to these kinds of shenanigans.
exactly. TC gets it. Also, this is where I was confused because the girl that is flashing her now is not. What was her name? Mom?
Allie.
Allie?
It's not
Is
Allie.
not
Right,
Allie.
it's the other slutty girl.
Mary.
Oh, Mare, but she likes to be called Mare.
Mare. Like Mare Winningham
Okay.
from St. Elmo's Fire. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
that's
you're
all-
right.
that's-
Yeah, I
okay.
think you're
Yeah,
right.
because at one point Angela calls her Mary and she's like, my name's Mare.
Yeah.
It's not Mary. I was like, all right. I mean, you just met this girl like a week ago. Give her a break.
Yeah. She don't know. Mare meets her maker. Because
These kills are so fast. These characters are not developed. It was
No,
just,
and even this one, we don't even really get to see this gory kill. We just see. So
No.
the Mare is in the car with. So Mare's the one that flashes her boobs.
right. And
She
again, the
gets
whole
caught.
time I thought this was Allie. Even after she
Oh,
kills
yeah.
her, I was like, well, the bitch is dead. Like, what's going to happen here? And I
No.
turn around, there's another blonde taking her shirt off. And
The
I'm
other-
like, wait, hold
There's
on.
Allie and there's Mare. They're both like to flash their boobs.
Yep.
Angela takes Mare into her car, and is basically trying to get her to apologize for, everything
Yeah.
will be okay, Angela says, if you could just say you're sorry for flashing your boobs, because it's totally inappropriate. And
Totally
Mare's like-
inappropriate. You've been hanging out with some kids? I think you should write Sleepaway Camp 5 because they did make a 4.
they did make a 4?
They did make it very recently.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, so Mare does not want to apologize, and Angela reaches behind the car seat for something, and Mare says, what are you getting, like a gun? And she's like, no, my drill.
Just with this giant bit on it. It's huge and comical. And she drills her. And again, I didn't know Angela had a car. Like
I
this
didn't
scene
know.
comes out
Yeah.
of nowhere. I don't know where they are. I
Where
don't know where
exactly?
she's driving
Where are
to.
they taking her? I know. What's I know.
And
now
again,
there's-
the idea of apologizing, like, are we supposed to think that if the shit sisters were like, we were sorry we were doing drugs, maybe, I know you burned my sister, but don't burn me.
Yeah.
Would that work?
She
I
was
don't
going to
think
give this
so.
one a second chance, but
Angela seems soup's crazy.
Soup's cray.
I'm trying here.
It's good. It's good. I
I'm
like
trying. It's not working. Mare's dead.
Mare's
I don't think
gone.
anybody asked about Mare at all.
No, I don't think they even noticed Mare's gone.
Because
No.
TC, now we're back in the dining hall because this movie takes place in 3 locations. So we're in this dining hall, and I love how TC gets up and he's like, listen, there's a lot of things missing. And I wanted one of the things to be Mare, but he doesn't say that. And all the things that are missing are just things that Angela uses to kill people because he talks about all this rope, and he talks about how
His car battery
drill is missing. His car battery's missing. I thought that was kind of funny because everybody laughs at him. Oh my God! I want to talk about a scene that makes no sense right after this one. Okay.
Wait, is it when?
What do you
scene?
think it is?
When they hang out at the cabin together, Mary and Molly and Angela?
No, it's a scene right after TC talks about what's missing on campus or in camp.
Yeah.
And then after that, Molly follows Angela to her murder shack and they have a bonding moment.
Yeah, so it's not the bonding moment.
When Molly's following Angela, we just hang on these 3, one's like the blonde guy and one's Sean and one's the mean girl. And the blind guy is just sitting there and he's like, one day I was like playing soccer and I was just kicking the ball, so I was like just playing soccer, and then it just fades out. I was like, what was that scene?
I didn't catch it.
I had to rewind it because I didn't understand what he was talking about. But it does just fade out. So we see that Molly, the good girl, Estevez, follows Angela to her murder shack because she's like, I guess this is just where you go when you need some time and you need to get away. At one point she says it's a mile away, which is a long way from camp. And they sit and they have an awkward conversation, and Molly tells her that she's jealous of Allie because Allie sleeps with all these boys.
Because she's more experienced. I like Angela's response to that. She's like, well, she's more experienced. And Angela goes, which probably means she has more diseases.
Not untrue, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know. And I also like how Molly's like, I tried out for cheerleader once, but I didn't get it. It's probably because I didn't cheer loud enough.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that's how
they
judge cheerleading. Like, you probably didn't jump around enough, or you were probably uncoordinated.
Right. Well, they have, I don't know, that's another weird thing is, you don't really get why Molly is into Angela. And then you would think, like, I thought they were going to come full circle on maybe Angela is, like, into Molly,
Right, yes.
But they don't really come full circle on that.
No.
Which
no,
they
not at
had
all.
the opportunity to, but they don't.
Well, they have so many opportunities to have conversations that amount to anything, and nothing comes of it.
No.
They talk for a long time. They say nothing interesting or important.
No, it's not at all interesting.
During
not at all.
any of these interactions. But Angela does say that she is still a virgin and she's proud.
Yes.
And she talks about her aunt, and I really missed her aunt.
She does. I know, and I wanted to have. She says, my aunt says, keep good morals keep your morals strong, and you'll never go wrong.
And I was like, that's not what your aunt says.
Yeah,
your
your
aunt
aunt's
tied
a
a string around her
wackadoo.
finger and was just like, I forgot to do something, but now I don't know what it is. And also, I bought you lots of chips for camp. That's what your aunt says. We've talked about how these guys are making props for horror movies at a craft table. Like, it's all ridiculous. It's all like stupid baby shit that they're doing with these campers who are way too old to do this stuff.
Yeah, but I think they didn't know what else to do with them. Like,
no, right, exactly. So now we're back to the Tit Patrol, a.k.a. Charlie and Emilio.
Right.
And they have like a stack of pictures of the girls at camp.
They've got a lot of looks like Polaroids too. It's like and including they have a picture of Angela.
They have a picture of Angela taking her shirt off or putting her shirt on.
Yeah,
something.
and an awkward like elbow.
It's yeah, it's very awkward where you see, I guess, her in a bra basically.
Yeah.
And Angela, I don't know, she like comes out of nowhere.
She swoops in. She does this a couple of times where all of a sudden she's like, "What do you got?
Yeah.
What are you doing?" Yeah.
She takes this stack of pictures and isn't, certainly is upset by what she's seeing, but when she sees the picture of herself, ooh, that sets her off. And I love, we talked about how these kids are all terrible actors in this movie, and these little kids are awful too. But when she's looking through it, they legit look ashamed. And I was like, that's the best bit of acting in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. And then when she takes them and she's like, "Uncle John's going to hear about this." And the one kid's like, "Was the picture of Angela in there?"
I mean, it was under my mattress earlier, but I did stick it in the pile. So, yeah. And how about this pervy TC? Because she walks outside, and TC's standing there, and she's like, "David, these pictures." And TC takes them and starts rifling through and, like, compliments her on her bra or something.
Yeah.
It's really weird. So the boys have a plan to scare Angela by dressing up as horror movie villains.
Right. They're going to be Freddy and Jason. That's
right.
Yeah.
So all the other girls are around a campfire. Mm-hmm. We have not talked about this poor black actress who somehow got a role in this movie. I don't understand it. She talks a lot. That's her character trait, I guess, which I didn't understand till the end. But it's like she has ADHD, like severely. And at this campground, she's sitting there with that with the bitchy girl, and the bitchy girl's listening to music.
Oh, yeah.
This black girl's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this. My parents are gonna kick my ass so bad. Oh my god, that song is great. You gotta turn that song up. You have such great taste in music. I would have never thought it by looking at you."
Yes.
It is. She's delivering lines like she's getting paid less for how long it takes her to deliver these lines. She's like, "If I can't get all of this out in 10 seconds, I'm not going to get my paycheck."
No, you're right. She like rapid fires, and you're like, "What?" Yeah.
And whatever. These kids, one dresses up as Freddy Krueger, the other one dresses up as Jason Voorhees.
I did want to say the weird cackle that the slutty girl has when that girl goes on about her music taste.
Yeah.
Then the slutty girl changes the station real quick. When she's like, "Oh, I love that song," she changes the station, and then she laughs like a moron, laughs just like a lunatic at it.
They all laugh. Like this is the most hilarious joke. You like that song, so I quickly switched it to a classical music station. Let's all roll around and laugh like idiots about this.
How funny is that?
Again, but this is what teenagers do, Jamie.
It's how they spend their summers.
Mm-hmm.
The girls are having this little campfire, and they say, "Aren't the boys going to try to scare us?"
Yeah, well, they say that they're trying to scare Angela.
Oh, they do think Angela. Okay.
Yeah, but the girls are like, "But Angela's not here. I hope they don't come to scare us."
No, yeah. So
Freddy Krueger drops his glove in the woods, and he's literally like, it's like Velma looking for her glasses on Scooby-Doo. This kid's nose is basically in the dirt looking for this glove with legit razors on it, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to scare her, and this kid put the sharpest knives at the end of this glove.
All over this glove, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So his friend, dressed as Jason Voorhees, the only other black actor in this movie, is like, "Hey, man, I'm out of here. Catch up to me if you can." Mm-hmm. So this guy finally finds this glove, but someone's wearing it.
Mm-hmm. Someone else has got their hands in it.
Angela cuts this kid's throat with a glove that he was going to wear. And he's dead. Yep. So now she shows up dressed as Leatherface. I don't know where she got a whole other costume. But she shows up as Leatherface with a chainsaw and chainsaws up the other kid.
The other guy, right.
Who's dressed
and
as
now
Jason.
Again, you say cuts his throat, chainsaws up. We really don't see cutting the throat, we see a little bit. He chokes for a minute. He
chokes for a long time.
He takes this long time to go because he's like, this is my end scene. I better take as much time as I can. So he takes a long time to choke out. And we don't really see, and the chainsaw guy, we don't really see. We just hear the chainsaw. We see a little splat of blood, but there's not like the gore,
she like chainsaws his fake machete out of his hand.
Yes.
And then chases him, and it's like, wham, but we see everything from his point of view. So we just see like some blood spraying on her. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have good quips
no.
This is just it's so lazy.
And again, why we don't know these boys well enough to know why she's killing them. We don't.
No, they were going to scare her. So now she decides that deserves murder.
Mm-hmm. And then she goes back to now she's dressed up, like you said, as Leatherface or whatever. And she goes back to the girls' camp and kind of is like, ah! Again, with the crazy maniacal laughter.
These girls tackle her laughing. They're probably still laughing about the radio station because that was a great gag. But they tackle her and they all roll around laughing.
But wait, before she gets there, I wrote down this line because it was just fucking random. Before she gets there, as the girls are sitting around the fire, the one girl's like, I'm really glad you brought these jumbo hot dogs to the campfire.
I forgot about that girl.
And the other girl's like, I know, they're all beef.
It's like they're doing a commercial in the middle of the movie. And also, I didn't even realize this until right now. The girl that talks about the hot dogs is the girl that gets knifed, the redhead, near the end of this.
Oh.
Because that girl, when she walked into the cabin, I was like, are you in the wrong cabin? Because I have not seen you in this movie.
She's the all-beef hot dog girl. That's who she is.
Oh, God, I wish she was credited as that in this movie.
Oh.
I forgot about that. And she does. She like looks at the camera, practically winks as she takes a bite out of this hot dog. Oh, God. So now we talked about a couple crazy sex scenes.
Oh, this is the bathroom one. Yeah, right?
Yeah. So Angela shows up at the camp, and after they have their, I don't know, tickle fight dressed as Leatherface, she's like, where's Allie? And they're like, she had a lot of cramps, and now she's in the bathroom. Angela knows better. Angela understands that she's probably having sex with some dude in the bathroom.
Really, it's a lot of fancy footwork to start it out. Like,
I kind of love this. Like, the way that this was shot at the beginning, I was like, oh, they're actually doing something. Like, they're actually trying something, and they're trying to have fun. I love how this guy apparently brought wine, and they had already been drinking it. There's candles.
There's candles lit. Yeah, in like a campsite bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing like overhead fluorescent lights and candles.
And you just see their feet. You see their feet kind of stumbling around, intermingling with each other. You see they're kind of trying to take their pants off.
At one point, he's dragging her. Like, you see her feet and legs. He's dragging her across the floor as she kicks her jeans off. And then they go into the stall, and this is when it gets funny because she's constantly pushing his head down as she's tearing her own clothes off.
It's like she's having an exorcist. Like, she's just flailing her arms and trying to take off her clothes, but pushing his head down. And we don't really, and she's moaning a little bit so that we know that some dirty stuff is happening, but it doesn't look like, again, when you have these sort of sexy scenes in these horror movies, I would think that they're meant to be a little bit erotic. This is not. It's disturbing.
No,
both of them are very disturbing.
I thought the other one was a little more disturbing. This one, I think at this point in the movie, I was just looking for anything. I was like, please, just give me something. And this scene was actually somewhat fun because I like how Angela shows up and the door's locked.
Oh, yeah.
And she's beating on the door. And I love how this girl, like, she has to get out of the stall and she has to put her clothes on. She's hopping into her jeans and everything. And then Angela's like, well, why did you lock the door? And she's like, well, I don't want those weird pervy boys to come in here. Or whatever she says.
I got cramps and candles.
Away.
Yeah, she just leaves.
She just leaves. And that's good enough for Angela. She could have because she showed up with a chainsaw. She even tries
yeah.
to start the chainsaw outside and it won't start. Because she could have totally killed this dude, but he's just like hiding in the stall, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
The next day opens with Estevez and Sean having a flirty little football game.
Oh, yes.
Again, it's like in Police Academy 2. They're standing about 3 feet away just throwing the football back and forth and laughing about it. I thought this was kind of amusing, like just lines that were written down that they decided to put in this movie. Because Allie walks up to Molly. Sean's like, I gotta go, or something like that. So Allie walks up to her, and Allie's like, listen, you don't like me, and I don't like you.
Oh, yeah, they have
you
a
bitch. And Molly's even like, I kind of like you.
Yeah.
It's such a weird interaction that goes nowhere. Because even after she says it, Allie's like, well, yeah, all right, well, I don't like you.
Yeah.
How is this dialogue?
Yeah, it's a weird fight that it doesn't need to happen, really. Yeah.
No, it doesn't need to happen at all.
Except now we know, because we know that Molly is not really best friends, but she's kind of the pet of Angela. And now we know that these two are really against each other, Molly and Allie. It kind of just solidifies their divide, I guess.
Right? Yes, because even Allie says like, "Oh, I don't want to do anything terrible to you because you're just gonna go and tell Angela."
Right, right.
And then Molly's all sad in her cabin.
Oh yeah, and then Angela's like, oh, and she's like, yeah, she was so mean to me. I don't even know where she is now.
But don't say anything to her because she said that I'd tell you, and then if you say something, then she'd know. It's so great because it is like Angela sits down almost like, hey, what's the matter, Buckaroo?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's so
You
dumb.
can tell me. What's the prob? Not Allie. Well, Allie's gone, and Molly's like,
gone.
I don't even know where she went. And Angela's like, she's probably fornicating someplace. She's not wrong. She's not
Where
wrong.
do you think she is? Angela gets this far off look in her eye, and then just goes, she's probably off fornicating. Great delivery there. Springsteen. Way to go.
Oh.
This is when she has sex with the blonde guy, and when they're done, she's like, hey, you don't like have AIDS or anything, do you?
Right,
and
right.
when he says no, she's like, all right, see you later, dude.
Bye. Peace out. See ya. Yeah.
Yeah, they finally get to have sex. They were disturbed in the bathroom.
Right. But they have
this
a little.
time,
Now, when she returns from sex with him, she returns and there's a note on the mirror from Sean, allegedly.
From Sean saying, meet me at the murder shack.
At 5:00.
Yes.
And I love it because she walks up to the murder shack and the note literally just says, meet me at the shack at 5. But she checks the note again as if maybe she read something wrong when she gets there. Like,
the shack. I guess this is the only
did
shack
I say
that I know
5
of.
or 4? Yeah. And I love it too because it's 5. It's the summertime, so it's still daylight out. You would think that if he wanted to do something salacious, like meet me at the shack at midnight, meet me at 10, meet me after the dance. Like none of what's happening at this. What is happening at this camp?
Why is there no big dance in this one? Either?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Besides the murders, what is happening at this camp?
I would love it for the whole thing to culminate in a dance where the only like 6 surviving people show up at this dance
And
just
Angela
stand
just
around
murders them all.
and they're just like, where is everybody? Did everybody go home?
So she goes to this shack.
This is gross.
Oh,
and
it's
cruel.
very
like
disturbing.
cruel. Like
Yes.
They have set Allie up to be the villain,
Yes.
other than Angela, of this film. You are not supposed to be rooting for Allie at all. Yes, she's trying to steal Sean, this bland guy, from another bland character in this movie. But you're supposed to hate her. Like, I am not supposed to feel so bad for this character as I do about 2 minutes from now.
Well, because what a terrible murder this is. So obviously, Sean doesn't want to meet her at this shack. It is Angela who has set this whole thing up so she could murder her. And what she does...
And Angela even says something like, you stupid idiot. I can't believe you fell for that.
Yeah. So first, Angela just stabs her in the back.
Yeah.
And that could have killed her right there. And it would have been an interesting, like, stab in the back kind of kill. Like she did, like Angela from before did when she stabbed the girl in the shower, right in the back.
Of course.
Right? Could have been a little like, oh, look at this. But she's not quite done there. Go ahead.
No, not at all. Because she takes her... It's like she can't get the door to the murder shack open, which nobody can get this door open in this movie.
It's very tricky, yeah.
She takes her to the outhouse,
Uh-huh.
and I love how she sticks her head in there, and she's like, "What's down there?" And Allie's like, "I don't know shit." She's like, "Yeah, that's your favorite word, isn't it?" And she lifts her up and shoves her down into, I don't know, like an 8-mile deep well of poo.
Yeah. And she goes, what else? And piss?
Because she sticks her in head first, but somehow she turns herself around in here.
And I love it. The camera angle is from inside of
Yep.
the bottom of the toilet. Yeah.
And she has a giant stick. I guess maybe
Yes.
the same stick
It's
she
the
beat
same.
that
It's
girl
the murder
to death
log.
with
We'll
in
call it the
beginning.
murder log.
Right.
Yeah.
She's pushing her down. You see this girl, her head keeps popping out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she keeps pushing her down. You hear these gurgling
No,
sounds.
it's terrible.
It is so dumb and kind
there's
of
leeches
sad.
in there too.
There's leeches. I didn't, like, later when we see her, I'm like, are there just a bunch of pieces of poop on her face? But clearly it's leeches, which just smear shit all over her face. Like, why do you have to put leeches on her at the end of
Now
this?
there's leeches and poop
Yeah.
and piss. And yeah, she dies inside of a shitter.
Yeah,
I mean,
the gurgling noises eventually stop,
Yep.
and that's it.
Yep.
This is when we get Sean dumps a bunch of needless exposition
Oh,
on us
yes,
because
yes.
everyone that's watching this movie has clearly seen Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah. Why are you here otherwise? Yeah.
Yeah, folks, if you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, why are you listening to this?
Yeah.
Just stop. Just go listen to Sleepaway Camp. Go watch it.
the
Forget this
original.
happened.
Yeah.
So Sean is like, yeah, that camp where those kids were killed at, Camp Arawak, I was supposed to go there, but my parents couldn't afford it. I'd be dead now. Like, well, she didn't kill everybody at that camp, dude.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah, exactly. You would have maybe made it out okay. Yeah. You
Right.
don't know that for sure.
So this is, I think, my favorite scene of the movie. This is when, do we know the black girl's name? I feel bad just calling her the
No,
black
I
girl.
call her
but-
the older girl because I think she looks the oldest too. Out of
Really?
all of
I
them.
thought she looked pretty young. I thought she
Uh-huh.
looked, she was like a Tootie from,
Oh, look at Tootie.
well, we
I
were
don't
talking
know her
about Joe
name.
earlier. So this is when she totally fucks up her line. She comes into the cabin. And Angela's the only one in there. And she walks over to Angela and she's like, I was so bored. And she sits down on the bunk, shakes her head, sighs, and then goes, so I was so bored. And I was like, what? How is this even happening? But she's talking and blah, blah, blah. And eventually I decided I better listen to what she was saying because I did rewind it to hear the board thing again because I couldn't.
Because you couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Like I thought I had entered some weird fugue state where the same thing happened twice. But she basically says, hey, I called the parents of one of the kids who said that they were leaving or that you said you sent home. And they said that their kid's still at this camp. That's weird because their kid's still at this camp. And you said you sent them home. But they said the kid's still at the camp. Like, that's all
she goes
saying.
on and on. Well, she called all the people that have been, well, because that's earlier too, when we're playing cards and we get the little retelling by Sean of what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Sean's buddy, the guy that had sex with Allie, is like saying, where's this people? Where's Allie? Where's this guy? Where's this guy? Wondering where all these missing campers are. And even Sean is like, don't worry, they're fine. They're probably out on a beer run. It's all good. Now, this girl, the black girl has gone and done research. She's made some calls, called some of the people that have left, and is like, and she's finding out that she gets in touch with their parents. They were never sent home. Now, don't forget
Why you wouldn't
too,
go to Uncle John with this information, I'm not sure.
Don't forget too that Angela was sitting in there just playing her guitar, just
Oh,
singing,
yeah.
and playing a little kumbaya. I think, before she walked in. But so, yeah, she's going on and chatting on about all these ex-campers that she's contacted, and they're not at home. They're missing. Isn't that crazy?
And the whole time she's talking, Angela is wandering around looking for something to kill this girl
And
with.
she's trying all different things. She's picking
Right.
things up like she's going to hit her with them. Yeah.
Right, and why? Why isn't okay? So she ends up strangling her with wire, which I'm assuming is like guitar string, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was guitar string.
I know, but like, if we're talking about fun kills, and you just drown a girl in an outhouse,
Yes.
like why doesn't she pick up the guitar and just slam it
slap,
on this
I
girl's
know.
head, and then use the strings to strangle her? Like, this movie is so devoid of fun. It's disgusting.
I'm with you. I am.
And
with
right
you.
after she kills her, she's trying to shove her out the window
Yeah,
too.
she's just shoving her. She didn't
Which
know where else
seems
to put her
sloppy.
body.
Like, this is
Yes.
sloppy, Angela. But I guess this is the first person she killed at camp, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now, the hot dog princess wanders into this room. She wanders into the cabin, and Angela comes out and is like, I'm going to totally stab you
Yeah,
because
you're
going to
die
tell
too.
people.
Yeah, and that's basically what she says. She
Yes.
comes out with a knife, and the girl's like, "What did I even do?" And Angela's like, "You're gonna talk, so you have to die."
Right. No hot
Yep.
dog joke. Come on, do a hot dog joke, Angela.
Nothing.
Something.
Nothing. She could have killed her with a hot dog, choked her out with one.
Right.
Yep.
That would be so much better.
No, she stabs her. This one just.
Oh.
Yep.
I like how the next day Molly returns to the cabin and all the beds have been stripped
Oh, yeah.
from the cabin except for hers.
And she's not a least bit. She goes, "You sent them all home?"
And Angel's like, hey, it's just us now, roomie. This is fun. We're
We
going to
get
have
to
the
just
best
hang."
summer ever.
Oh, this is when she's singing Kumbaya. This is when she walks in the empty cabin and Angela is just in her jammies singing a little Kumbaya.
So what
And-
leads to Angela having these weird flashbacks? Because that's my next note, but I don't have anything in between.
She's just sleeping, and now she has a nightmare.
Oh,
she's just
yes.
sleeping, and it's like a nightmare that she's having.
Yeah.
And
So
the
her
night-
nightmare is all the stuff that we've already seen in this movie, all of the kills, but everything's got a blue filter on it, and it's intercut with her getting her Counselor of the Week award and singing her Happy Camper song.
In slow.
But
singing. Yeah.
sounds like and it goes on for so long.
It does. It really, really does.
I'm a happy camper. We hear the whole song
We do.
with
All of it
murder.
slow motion. Mm-hmm.
Now this movie cranks it up. This movie's like, listen, we are coming in under 90 minutes any way we can. How many more people do we have to kill? 7?
get 'em all.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Uncle John and TC, they fire Angela.
Well, because she's sending everybody home.
She said everyone.
Uncle John tried to tell her not to do that, and she didn't. And Uncle John's like, "I'm going to have to fire you." And Angela's like, "Well, what if I stop doing that? There's one camper left. There's one camper left."
One person left. The blonde kid and Sean are still
Yeah.
there. I think there's 3 campers left, and he's like, and she goes, "What if I just stopped it now? What if I didn't send
Yeah.
the remaining campers home? Can I keep my job?
Can I
then?"
stay? And Uncle, no, that's not going to work for them. No.
And she's really sad about it. Like, she's really
Oh, yeah.
bummed out
Yeah,
about
she's
it.
crying. She goes in, and she can't even at first be consoled by Molly. Molly's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "They fired me. I need some time alone. I can't even talk to you about this because I need to just go and be." And Molly knows where her alone time is. So Molly, super concerned still, goes to get Sean and is like, "I need you to help me because Angela's really sad." And he's like, "And what do you want me to do about that?"
He's like, wait, that horrible counselor who
Yeah.
sent everybody home is sad? What the fuck do you care?
Yeah, what do you want? And she's like, "We need to go. We need to make it feel better." So he agrees to go, and he kind of goes. He brings her up there, but first it's just the two of them talking, and
It's like the two of them are talking, and it's almost like Sean knows there's some bad news because he's almost like sneaking behind them up to the murder shack, and he like pries the door open, goes in and finds all of the dead people. They're all posed and
They're
sitting
all just
there.
in there with, again, a ton of flies and some candles.
And then Angela walks in the door and lightly just taps him with a stick,
yeah.
and he is out.
Done. And then right behind that, Molly walks in like, oh, what's happening? Like, as if not to be scared or startled. And now, no.
And I think she hits her too and knocks her out.
Yes.
So most of the rest of this movie takes place in her murder shack, because now she has Sean tied to a chair. Mm-hmm. And I think Molly might also be tied to a chair. I'm not sure.
They're both tied up. Yeah.
And this is when Angela's just opening a giant can of peas. A giant can of peas.
Like a Costco can. Yeah.
I don't know what she cooked it in, but suddenly it's cooked and it's in a bowl. And she's like, you got to keep up your strength, buddy. Hey, we're friends now, Molly. Me and you, sorry you had to stumble upon this, but we're all cool. She's also talking about French fries. It's nonsense. It makes no sense. Mm-mm. Also, at this point, TC makes his way up.
Oh, yeah. And he gets the hot tip that they're off. Oh, he gets it from that other guy, the other Allie's boyfriend there. That he gets the hot tip that they've gone to the abandoned cabin to go look for Angela. And TC is, now he knows he's got to get to the abandoned cabin, but he's just screaming their names. He's like, Sean, Molly, Angela!
And we assume as viewers, we're like, oh, TC is here to save the day. He's a strapping young man. He'll go in there and teach her what's what.
There's at least going to be a battle or a fight about it. But
something. At least something.
No.
But instead, it's the opposite of something. Mm-mm. There's nothing. He walks in. Angela has apparently taken the battery acid out of his car's battery, put it in a coffee mug, and throws it right in his face. Mm-hmm. And I guess it eats through to his brain and he's dead?
He kills him almost instantly. Kills him. And she even says, and you wondered where your car battery went to. Or car battery came in handy.
Oh my God, it's so dumb. And this is the point where after Sean has been sitting there tied up for I don't know how long and seen all these, he's really been thinking, because now he goes, wait a minute. You're Angela.
Yes.
You're the one who killed all those campers, and now you're killing these campers. And I know all this because my dad's a cop.
My father's the cop that arrested you.
Right.
Yes.
And I did think it was funny how she's like, won't he be sad when he finds out what happens to you? And won't just
shut his head off. Just headless. Now he's just headless. And I like it then later, she puts his head in the empty TV.
In a TV?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And tells Molly, it's like, you can just watch TV, look what's on. I was like, this is terrible.
Weird. It's weird. Yeah. She's just got to take a break for a minute. All of a sudden, Angela's like, hey, she tries to feed her, right? Doesn't she try to feed Molly, too?
Still trying to get peas in her.
Yeah, but Molly's just so sad. I mean, she just watched her boyfriend get decapitated. And
I don't know if they were exclusive. I mean, I don't know where this
true.
relationship was going.
Where are we going?
They seem to have met a week ago.
True. At the pool, though, they did make good contact.
Right. No, you're right. That's a good point.
Angela goes off to kill Uncle John. And
she
that
leaves.
Other guy. She wants to just finish off the camp.
The blonde guy. Because right now, the blonde guy and Uncle John are the only two people left. Or so we think.
Right.
Because the camper or the counselor with the short hair.
Oh, yeah, the lady counselor.
This girl that we have not seen since the beginning of the movie. Comes back. It's so bizarre. Mm-hmm. But we also see, oh my God, did you watch Molly struggle with these ropes? I'm like, Molly,
oh my God,
pull your hand right out of there. They're so loose, Molly.
Molly, you could do this, Molly. And Molly, why didn't you try to do it sooner?
Right. Why didn't you do it sooner? And why are you struggling so hard with these? This should be really easy.
This looks like you just slip it out.
Then these two just run around.
They running in the forest.
Forever. Mm-hmm. Hilarious.
Molly looks back a couple of times and they're running. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The stable camera, one passes by, the other one passes by, camera reversed, the other one it's so stupid. And they run through the field, the woods. Oh, they're back in a field. They're back in the woods. I think they're just doubling the footage.
Well, Molly gets the knife for a bit, right? Because they struggle some. They finally, Molly turns behind a tree, I think, and Angela is right there. And they struggle with the knife. Molly stabs her in the knee. Angela just wants a friend. They chase again. Angela's trying to like, hey, just give me the knife, Molly. It's okay. I just want to be your friend. And Molly is on, I didn't even want to call it a cliff. It's like a
No, it's not a
ledge.
cliff. Because I thought when she fell, I was like, oh my God, how far did she? Oh, 3 feet?
Yeah,
All right.
she like tripped backwards. I guess we're meant to think she's dead at first. So she falls.
That's what Angela assumes. Angela's
Yeah.
like, we could have been friends.
Yeah, she says, oh, you almost made it, she tells
Yep.
her. Oh, you almost made it.
Now that Molly's quote unquote dead, the short brunette counselor that we have not seen and has no beef with Angela at all, she finds the Tit Patrol. They're dead.
They're
in
dead.
front of a window. I like how she posed them in front of a window.
Doing what they do. Doing what
Yep.
they do, I guess.
Uncle John is dead. The blonde kid is also in Uncle John's office. He's dead.
He's hung. He was hung, too. With
Yeah,
something
I
in his
thought he had
mouth.
like something up through him, like
Oh, yeah.
a stick through him. And
Possibly.
she's killed. She's unceremoniously killed
Yep.
because she decided to come back into this movie at the end.
Don't anger Angela. And
Right.
now Angela has decided, I think she says goodnight to the campers.
Yep.
And she goes on her way.
Oh, can we talk? Can we just circle back real quick?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
when they're talking, I said that when Molly and Angela talk, like they don't say anything important. I like how Molly asked her how she got this job at this new camp. And Angela's like, I have the best references from all these doctors.
yeah.
Like, and I'm just like, what kind of references is that? Like, was Uncle John like, oh, wow, there sure are a lot of mental health professionals that you have on here.
Well, she
And-
says,
And what kind of recommendation would these people be? They'd be
know.
like, wait, dude, you run a camp? This is not the person
this
you
isn't
want to
ideal.
hire.
This is not ideal situation.
Right.
She says to Sean when she's like, I've been to all these doctors. I've had multiple surgeries. I've had all these things done. I'm fine now.
What a
Clearly,
progressive
she's
film.
not, right?
Clearly she's not. Yeah, and she's like, I'm out of here. Camp, schmamp.
Yeah.
All right, I made my way through one camp. Camp Rolling Hills, fuck off. I'm out of
See ya.
here.
Good night.
But we
Yeah.
see that Molly is not dead. She was just napping or something,
Yeah,
I guess.
she literally was like laying there and she gets up like, oh, okay. And then she knows she's got to go. So she starts to kind of run off like, I got to get back out of here. In the meantime, Angela is now in a truck with another lady.
A Reba McEntire impersonator?
Yeah.
This woman. I don't know what movie she thinks she's in. I don't know what she thinks she's playing in this. But I was like, Reba, what are you doing in this
Scale
movie?
it down, girl. Yeah, because she's like, I got these cigarettes. It's my one vice is I like to smoke cigarettes. And again, Angela is such a bitch. She's like, well, can you roll down the window? Like, you're getting a ride from this lady.
Right,
and
exactly.
Angela is put out, again, because I guess the lady smokes and smoking's a bad thing. I don't know. She's
I
getting a ride
guess.
from a lady in a truck, and Angela is upset. And even this lady doesn't make it. Yeah.
Kills this poor random woman who gave her a ride.
Yep. At the train. They had to stop for a train, and she kills her at the train. And now we think that sweet Molly is going to make it because she's running out of the woods.
She's flagged down a car.
She comes to this truck.
And what kind of an ending is this?
Oh,
Because
it's
she goes over to the driver's side door.
Mm-hmm.
Angela sticks her head out. She's wearing that woman's cowboy hat now. I think she puts on a southern accent or something.
Yeah, she does.
And then the camera just freezes. It's freeze frame on Molly, but then like a weird push in, like like the end. I don't know. Do we hear a scream? Do we hear anything? I don't know.
Now, howdy, partner, I think is how it ends.
Oh, great. You know, that famous line from Angela, howdy, partner.
Yep. Oh,
And that's
that's what I think about Sleepaway Camp, too.
Yeah, this was terrible.
Yeah.
This was really bad, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll watch slasher movies. I like horror movies. I
Sure.
like this is everything I don't like about a horror movie.
Because it was terrible.
This is a movie that felt mean to me. Like, this is a movie that felt like they're testing you as an audience member. Like, how long can you sit through this? Like, how
Oh.
long can you watch horrible things happen to people that you don't care about by
Right.
people that you don't care about? It's lazy. It's not fun.
No.
It's everything that the first one wasn't.
I was going to say, it's the opposite, the complete opposite of the first one. You don't care about the characters. The kills are lame and
Yep.
too many. Like, that's another thing about the other movie, the original. The kills, they're thought out. They're well played. They're fun and funny, and then some of them, it was not good. Sleepaway Camp 2, summer sequels.
This sucked. This
Yeah.
sucked. I forget what movie I talked about, and I was like, "This is the worst movie we watched since summer camp." Or I want to call it boner camp, but I
No,
don't think that was it.
It was it just called like summer camp or something?
Something camp, party camp,
Yeah, party camp. There you go,
Yeah.
party camp.
Whatever movie I
That
thought was
was
the
more
worst
fun.
thing
That
since
was more
party
fun.
camp, this is the worst thing since party camp.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel so far removed from party camp. I don't feel like I should say that it was better. It's just as bad as party camp. Let's
Well,
just say that.
I think what makes it worse is that it's called Sleepaway Camp too. Like
Right,
party
sure.
camp is better in a sense because
There's
it
no
was his own thing,
expectations.
right? Exactly. But
You don't know
can't-
it's stupid.
right. Well,
Or
and
you know it's stupid
you're
right
not
away.
taking this beautiful character, this Angela, this amazing storyline, and turning it into this.
Just
Yeah.
nonsense, garbage.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I hated it.
We
I hated
spit
it
on
so
it.
much.
We spit on
Done.
it. We hate it so
We
much.
spit on Sleepaway Camp 2.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have any recommendations?
I did. It took a minute. I did. I mean, at first I wanted to be like, just watch the first one. It's so much better. But what I did do was so my recommendation isn't really a camp movie. It isn't a horror movie, but it does have Emilio Estevez and Martin Sheen and even Renee Estevez, Molly. It is the movie The Way. It was directed and written by Emilio Estevez and stars Martin Sheen, his dad. And it's a sweet little story about Martin Sheen plays the father. Actually, he plays the Emilio Estevez's father. And he goes to the walk called the El Camino de Santiago. It's this pilgrimage over in Spain, this like religious walk that they do, that people do. Well, his son died doing the walk, so Martin Sheen goes back and goes to retrieve the body and does this little spiritual walk himself, and it's the story of him doing the walk. It's called The Way. It's a 2010 film. I watched it a while ago. I don't actually remember Renee Estevez's character in it, but she's in it too. So, yeah, it's a sweet movie. It's not scary at all.
As long as nobody's chasing her through the woods and a
there's no
field
chase.
and the woods and a field.
No, nothing
All
like
right.
that.
Good.
But it's a family movie, I guess, because all the Estevezes. But yeah, it was
All
good.
right.
It was a nice movie. It was again the Camino de Santiago is like this famous pilgrimage walk that people do. Actually, Shirley MacLaine did it, and she has a book about it.
Oh,
Yeah, there's that.
okay.
It's called
Wow.
El Camino. Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. I
How's
have an
that?
actual recommendation, but first I'm going to make a recommendation to people that like this movie, because people like this movie. Like, I was
Really?
just saying, yeah, like teasing this out, or not even teasing this out, but just reaching out to people that listen to our show and going like, hey, what should we do? More than one person said Sleepaway Camp 2. So, and
Really?
I don't think they said it as, I mean, unless they're trolling us, like, I think
Yeah.
people like this. But there's a movie that was just from 2016, and it's called Better Watch Out. It's like a Christmas horror movie. And I heard that a lot of people liked it. And I watched it, and I had such a visceral reaction to it, the way that I reacted to this movie, where it just seemed mean-spirited. And it tested my patience as a viewer. Like, how much of this nonsense and garbage can you endure before? Because I watch horror movies for so many different reasons. And if something is, and it gets older it gets tougher as you get older. Like, if something is legitimately frightening, great. But that's really tough to do. So if you're not going to do that, at least have likable characters.
Sure.
Or at least do something interesting or something different or something clever. Better Watch Out for me was just as bad as this, but I know a lot of people like that movie. So if you like Sleepaway Camp 2 and you want more of that, check that out. But my actual recommendation, I'm not going to talk much about it. Uncle John was in a movie in 1965 called The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. And it's a wonderful little spy thriller. If you are not a fan of James Bond because there's too much action and it's silly, this is more of a realistic spy film, and it's kind of dark and it's kind of depressing. It's a really, really great film, so people should check that out.
Excellent.
Yeah. Plus, I'm just a little exhausted after watching this.
I know.
Talking about it. Like, some movies that are bad, it's fun to talk about. And I'm not saying this wasn't fun, but I didn't have as much fun talking about this as I did other stupid movies that we covered.
You were angrier. Yeah. I could see it was more sensitive for you.
I meant to say something. Hold on, let me bring it up. We have, and I got a tweet, we have a listener who worked on, what was that movie? What was the space movie that we just did? Forbidden World? Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
Forbidden Planet. We have a listener who worked on Forbidden Planet.
Wow.
He reached out. He worked in sort of special effects, like the physical special effects, like blood and guts and stuff like that.
So he made just that weird thing?
Yeah. He said it was the first film he ever made. He said that it was as crazy as it was to watch. He was like, it was crazy to make.
Wow.
But he said he learned so much from it. But he enjoyed our conversation, and his name is Mark Shostrom. So thank you, Mark, for reaching out. And if anybody else out there stumbles upon this and you're like, hey, I worked on that movie, we'd love to hear about it, because he said it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's all.
Awesome.
I didn't want to go the whole episode without talking about that guy, because I wanted to say that for a couple episodes now, and I kept forgetting. So let's take this depressing slasher gross stuff. Let's all take a shower, everybody. Sometime within the next 2 weeks, take a shower.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be a little bit lighter.
I'm hoping.
Because we're going to talk about Short Circuit 2.
Johnny Five is alive. Is he still Johnny Five in Short Circuit 2? I don't know.
I don't know what. Wait.
Johnny Five.
There's
That's
a
the
different
robot.
Character playing him?
No, I'm thinking maybe
they changed his name?
Is he like Johnny 5.0 or something?
Oh, I don't know. Was Johnny Five murdered at the end of Short Circuits?
No, but he's a robot, so maybe they upgraded him for the second one. I don't know. Look, they changed Angela. They kept her as a woman, but then they made her this creepy, angry woman. And
oh boy, I hope Johnny Five is still the Johnny Five.
I know. Don't we all? So Johnny Five, Short Circuit 2.
If Short Circuit 2 is just him running around murdering people, I'm going to be the one asking who's Johnny. I don't think that's the song in the second one, is it? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, anyway, so that's what we're going to do in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about Short Circuit 2. Hopefully a lighter, more fun conversation.
A little.
And not me recommending movies
not
I
so
hate.
Angry. Yeah,
not
not so angry. Yeah, you're like, I'll tell you what, if you like this movie, I'll tell you another dumbass movie that you might like.
Let me list things I hate, and then you'll like it, jerks. So everybody, please tune in again in 2 weeks' time when we talk about Short Circuit 2, and we continue with our summer of sequels.
Summer of sequels. It is. It's like the sea ocean. So maybe next week we'll have calm waters, or I don't know. Maybe we're going to capsize. I don't know.
This might be it. Guys, this might be the end of the podcast. We might not be able to make it out of the summer of sequels. This did us in.
Be afraid. Be
Yeah,
afraid.
I know. And I'm
Yeah.
the idiot that was like, well, let's just do it in June and July and August and September, just so we can do sequels of horror movies in October. So this is more than a summer. We'll see how we hold up.
Yeah.
But everybody, until then, have a great 2 weeks.
Take care.
Born in the burbs, life's been a breeze. 17 years old, he does what he please. Bored with his life, wants to get high. Heading for the city streets, kisses ass goodbye. He's on the road, no place is home. He'll self-destruct. He's ready to erupt. Out of control. He's out of control. Out of control. Made his escape. Nowhere to run. Backed in a corner. Mother's loving son. Youth on the
We'll do my favorite, the Happy Camper song.
You all right? What just happened to you? You
My
almost
face is
throw
exploding.
up?
It's fine.
This movie makes me want to vomit.